Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Niger once again, and welcome back to System Shock Radio. So, as always, I got some talks for you guys today. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. If you've seen System Shock Radio before, or if you're new to System Shock Radio, welcome. If not, welcome back. But if you are indeed new here, what we do here on System Shock Radio is we talk about a variety of topics, whether that be some nerd stuff, some pro wrestling, some current events. I do some inspiration, so all kinds of cool, fun, and hopefully interesting stuff. So if that is your kind of thing, please consider hitting that subscribe button and leaving a comment and a like, of course. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is we have a new IP in the Sausage Party universe. Now, at first, I thought this was a sequel, but as I'm looking here, it looks like it's going to be a mini series. So Sausage Party Foodtopia. The description here, at least according to IMDb, he says following the events of the 2016 film, Frank, Brenda, Barry, and Sammy try to build their own food society, and it premieres July 11th and on Amazon Prime Video. Now, if you didn't watch the original Sausage Party movie from 2016, good job maintaining your innocence. If you did, like me, then you are forever scarred and forever traumatized. And in a way, I blame my brother because he watched it. He talked, and he literally after he watched it, he was like, "I'm never looking at food the same way again." So I was like, "Oh shoot, what's that about?" And lo and behold, I watched it, and yeah, I certainly didn't look at food the same way after a while. I can't go into too much detail about what happens in the movie, but yeah, it's definitely some crazy stuff. Uh, uh, so turning it into its own TV show is gonna be interesting to see, and with it being a mini series, I guess that allows it to build from there. Do I prefer the mini series to the see fall movie? I ask as if I'm actually gonna watch the miniseries. Like I normally say, oh, I'll get to it eventually, and oftentimes I do at some point. But this one, I don't know. Again, can't get into detail about the movie, but it looks like Seth Rogen is returning from the movie as Frank. Everybody else, I think almost everybody else been recast as this guy Michael Cera as Harry. Oh, it's got Ed Norton as Sammy, which is gonna be interesting. So some people returning from the movie. So he's some new faces, but yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, uh, I don't recommend it. But if you're curious, it's definitely, I guess, check it out. But just know you've been warned. And I would strongly recommend against it, but yeah, you've been warned. So if you watch the movie and you're traumatized, that's on you at this point. But the next thing that we're going to talk about, speaking of shows, it looks like regular show is going to be getting a reboot. So this is courtesy of Screen Rant here. Here it says, "Our new regular show reboot has just been announced, and this news makes me cautiously excited after Mordecai and Rigby's perfect ending from the original series. Regular show was always one of my favorite series on Cartoon Network, with its absurd humor and comparatively edgy humor making it stand out from other shows that were airing around the same time. In fact, regular show is still enjoyable now, years after the show ended, and after I left Cartoon Network's target audience, me, and after I left Cartoon Network's target audience, meaning that I am incredibly excited for the upcoming regular show reboot series. He's let me see if I can get an exact date for this reboot series. But while I try to secure a date, I kind of get my own because the author gave a little personal anecdote concerning regular show. I figured I'd put in my 2 cents. Similar to the author, regular show is also a show I grew up on. Probably like one of my favorite Cartoon Network shows, and a lot of people for a lot of people, it's one of their favorite Cartoon Network shows. Like I remember Adventure Time and regular show, premiering around the same time, whereas Adventure Time was was definitely kind of in like a sitcom style where like where like episodes happen and they go on wacky hijinks, but the stakes almost don't matter. Adventure Time was definitely a bit more episodic and like where it had a continuity. Meanwhile, regular show it had continuity. He was definitely a lot more about the antics. So admittedly, I did kind of fall off towards the end when it comes to when it comes to watching regular show like the later seasons. Admittedly, didn't really watch, but at the OG seasons and before like Mordecai went full on sim mode. Oh, that was definitely good times, and similar to what the author was stating, regular show definitely did feel a little bit more adult. You can tell that it was definitely made for an older audience, but it still had to kind of be in that like PG friendly territory. He to be on Cartoon Network. Or they did sneak it in and within the show. Definitely more so in the earlier seasons. The later seasons, and at least to me, were kind of did kind of fall more in like that Cartoon Network line. Looks like I'm not quite able to find a release date. So probably just more so the announcement. And if there is like an official release date, I'll keep you guys posted. But definitely you could tell kind of meant for an older audience, and both figuratively and literally, because famously this is based off a short cartoon done by J.G. Quintel, who's the show's creator. Her called 2 in the AM PM. I believe it was a project he did for some kind of a competition while in college, and you can see kind of the beginnings of what would become regular show. So kind of the synopsis of the cartoon is that you have two main characters. And they kind of work at a gas station, and they decide to do some drugs, and one turns into a bird, aka Mordecai, and then one turns into a gumball machine, aka Benson. And in fact, I believe both the voice actors are there as well, who would go on to voice those characters, which is nice. Obviously, J.G. Quintel is there. He not only created the show but also voices Mordecai, and yes, that is his actual speaking voice. So like whenever he like talks, it just pretty much sounds exactly like Mordecai. But definitely check it out. Out if you guys are curious about that. But for me, the show was a lot of fun. It was funny. It was humorous. Like the dynamic between Mordecai and Rigby. He had that chemistry, and they definitely felt like brothers. They often argued and fought, but they often stuck together. I even watched the regular show movie when that premiered, and I remember that was a big deal when I was younger. So I'm interested to see what they do with the reboot series. Now, admittedly, reboots are kind of hit or miss. Like reboots either or could be really good and a solid way to continue on where the original left off. Some examples that come to mind, even if I haven't necessarily seen them, is like X-Men '97, which is going on right now, or I heard the Futurama reboot was actually pretty good. But then you have other reboots that don't quite pan out as well, such as like Fuller House. So definitely hit or miss. So admittedly, I can see why there's some skepticism and why some people are scared, but I am interested to see what happens. So let me know in the comments below if you're a fan of regular show. How do you think the reboot is going to go? Do you think it's going to go well? Do you think they shouldn't reboot it? Like for me, I'd say hey, if you're going to reboot it, definitely keep it in line with like the original show. Like take what, and I think that's where a lot of reboots kind of fall short. Is either they change too much from the original show to where it's totally unrecognizable from the source material. It's like what. Like wow, this is way too different. Like where's the original? Or kind of the other side of the extreme where they change very little and it just feels like the old one again in a bad way. Now, I would say have a nice balance where it feels kind of in the vein of the original, but it has that mileage to where it justifies the reboot. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but Yeah, if you're gonna do a reboot, obviously you want to keep it in vein with in the same vein as the original, because obviously the original worked out, which is why it warranted the reboot to cash in on the IP. But but don't change too much, but don't change too little. Like, have that nice medium balance to where it constitutes a reboot, but it definitely brings to the table what made the original so much fun and good in the first place. I don't know if that made any sense, but that's what I hope the show does with like the regular show reboot. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. The next thing we're going to talk about is that at Penta El Zero Miedo may be on his way out of AEW. So apparently Penta's contract act is set to expire or within August or September. And kind of an expert here, this is courtesy of the Sportster, says 2024 has been a busy year for free agency of wrestling. It absolutely has. Many top stars have signed and re-signed with WWE and AEW, but there are still many whose contract situations are up in the air. Look no further than Becky Lynch, who's currently a free agent and taking a break from wrestling. It's also worth mentioning this article was published on June 8th, so about a few weeks ago. An AEW original star is another such star who finds himself with an expiring contract, as Penta El Zero Miedo's current deal with AEW is up in a few months. To add an interesting layer into the mix, WWE is reportedly very interested in Penta. Penta El Zero Miedo, a pivotal figure in AEW since the promotion's inception, is approaching a crucial juncture in his wrestling career. Alongside his brother Rey Fenix as the Lucha Brothers, Penta has been integral to AEW, winning the AEW World Tag Team and Trios Championships. However, according to Lucha Libre Online, his contract with AEW is set to expire between August and September 2024. Penta's original AEW contract was set to end August 31st, 2020, but he, along with Fenix, extended their contract. Thanks. So, oh, Penta being actually first before we explain that, I'd take you back a little bit. It kind of, as the article was alluding to, Penta and Rey Fenix have been there pretty much since the beginning. I think even like since All In back in 2018, the inaugural All In event, which was kind of the genesis for AEW. So Penta and Rey pretty much there since the beginning, and of course the Lucha Bros multiple time tag team champions, held the trio championships alongside Pac as the Death Triangle. Penta's pretty much the day one on so him leaving is pretty surprising. Now, obviously, it's just saying it expired. He could always, re-sign with AEW, and I'm sure there is a very good chance he will. But we'll have to wait and see. But when it comes to WWE showing interest in Penta, that's definitely understandable. I imagine in Penta has been around for a while. I remember I first kind of got exposed to Penta in Lucha Underground. I'm watching Lucha Underground and seeing some of the stuff he and Rey Fenix got up to while there, and then obviously he now in AEW. So I imagine in Penta, who was also in Impact as well, I imagine Penta has probably been on WWE's radar for a while, and definitely watching him and Rey Fenix closely. Of course, Pac was in WWE as Neville, but I imagine Penta probably has been on like WWE's radar for a while, to where they'd want to scoop him up. As for him potentially going to WWE, it did lead to, like when the news first broke, it did lead to quite a bit of speculation as to what Penta would do in WWE, where he would fall on the card. Would he be a notable name? Would he get lost in the shuffle? Well, admittedly, I can kind of see either one. Like you would hope Penta would do really well, and Lord knows WWE's been trying for years to get that next Rey Mysterio, that next big like Latin superstar, and I imagine Penta could fit the bill to an extent. At least when it comes to like WWE style and everything, but at the same time, there is a lot of talent in WWE. Even right now, not just in NXT, but on the main roster as well, including Jacob Fatu, who as of this recording just made his debut on SmackDown on Friday. So there's a lot of talent in WWE. Sadly, when it comes to having so much talent in one place, whether it be WWE or even AEW, there are talents that can get lost in the shuffle. Well, do I think Penta will be on the main roster or NXT if he does come over? I'm or like the thing is, I can see him going on either. Like NXT, it seems like NXT is kind of where quite a few of the AEW stars are headed, and they even referenced it as such in that like one segment from a couple weeks ago where Cody Rhodes, Lexis King, Ethan Page, and Shawn Spears kind of had their interaction. I'm surprised it took them that long for Cody Rhodes and Shawn Spears to have interaction. I wonder if Cody's still upset with Shawn Spears for nailing him in the head, but Penta being NXT, I don't think it would be a super bad thing. It would definitely help out that brand. It kind of help him kind of get his feet wet when it comes to kind of getting the W style before he gets called up to the main roster. And I imagine he probably wouldn't be there long. For example, when Dragon Lee came in, and he wasn't in NXT for a while, for her long. He was there for maybe a year or maybe even less before her really making his way up to the main roster. There is that there. And I imagine Penta would have some decent success, but there is that chance he could get lost in the shuffle. But let me know. Well, that's kind of more so just my opinion. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Would you like to see Penta in WWE? And in fact, would you like to see Ray Phoenix in WWE? Do you think he'll leave alongside Penta? I imagine, and kind of just talking with them, just talking about Penta. I imagine Ray Phoenix's contract might expire later on. But would you like to see Ray Phoenix in WWE? And I imagine some people already having the dream matches, kind of the wheels turning when it comes to the dream matches, when it comes to Penta, and to an extent Ray Phoenix in WWE. But do you think he'll end up there? And if so, what do you think he'll do there? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts. It's the next thing that we're talking about is kind of keeping with AEW. Who Blood and Guts is coming up on July 24th. I misread it for a second. I thought it said June 24th because today is June 24th. Or I'm like, oh, it's coming up tonight, but it says July. I saw my knee glasses, but also it's a Monday. Excuse me, but even so, it's a Monday. But AEW Blood and Guts is coming up on July 24th, and similar to previous Blood and Guts, it's going to be a TV special. I'm surprised they haven't made Blood and Guts a pay-per-view just yet, especially with them apparently wanting to expand their pay-per-view lineup for the years. There's much to their delights and much to the chagrin of my wallet, yeah. So Blood and Guts is coming up. For those who are unfamiliar, Blood and Guts kind of like AEW's response to whose kind of version of WWE's War Games. In fact, I think kind of some of the similar rules I saw my first Blood and Guts match last year, but for this year so far, one match kind of on the card, and that's a Blood and Guts match featuring the Elites. It's obviously being Kazuchika Okada, Matthew, and Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks, the Scapegoat, Jack Perry, and a mystery fifth member to be determined. And then they're gonna fight a mystery team. Who I think they're going to fight? Who I think is going to be that mystery team? Considering they've kind of been feuding with Bryan Danielson or Darby, who is kind of out for the time being. I imagine probably that. And Jack Perry, I'm sure, has definitely made some enemies in the TNT title hunt. And I imagine this would be probably an interesting time to have someone try to step up and challenge the Elites, this new Elite. There is a chance that for starters, there is a chance that the fifth man for the Elite potentially could be Hangman Page. Like that would be he's something like Hangman Page. It's definitely kind of in that tweener role, kind of leaning a bit more towards heel. But I imagine Hangman Page could very well be either the fifth man there, or as for or who's fighting the elite. I don't want to speculate just yet. It is still a bit early, although we are inching closer towards it. So I imagine things will unfold from there as to who's actually going to be a part of that match. But there's quite a few possibilities. I imagine the Acclaim probably he might be a part of that because they've been having their issues with the elite. The elite cutting off their music, much to the delight of the fan, and which is definitely not a good sign, but. And so I imagine, and it might be the Acclaim, but we will see when it comes closer to Blood and Gut. So let me know if you guys are excited for Blood and Guts this year. A lot of questions I'm asking you guys, as if you're excited about this. It's because, as you know, stuff's coming up. And thankfully AEW, who between the pay-per-views, maybe not always in terms of viewership, but at least kind of from what I'm seeing with the pay-per-views and some of the stories going on hopefully this means AEW is kind of getting on the right footing and hopefully finding their groove again, and that definitely would be a good thing for AEW. But the last thing that I want to talk about in this episode is a question that I'm sure some of you have been asked or have asked before, or it's a question, and that does lead to an interesting kind of discussion / debates, and that's, can men and women be friends? And I mean platonic friends, no romance, no relationship, none of that. Can men and women be friends and just be friends? And admittedly, this is a kind of discussion debate that goes back quite a while. Like, this is something that people have been talking about for years as to whether or not men and women can indeed be friends. And I mean, like, real platonic friends with no extra shenanigans. And my answer to that is absolutely. Now, I think the reason, and I'll try to prove my argument, but also try to show the opposing argument. And the opposing argument boils down to one side, being the man or the woman in kind of that friendship, having those ulterior motives where they want to be friends, but they secretly want a little more, where the man's secretly trying to get with the woman and everything, and trying to get with them and start that relationship, and when it comes to the relationship dynamic, admittedly, I might be kind of all over the place when it comes to this. When it comes to that relationship dynamic, that's why a lot of people are kind of man, I forget the word, or they kind of skeptical. That was the word I was looking for. Kind of skeptical when their significant other or their male or female significant other has friends of the opposite gender. For me, I say men and women absolutely can be friends, and it does complicate things when there is that ulterior motive. But I have plenty of female friends, just like I have plenty of guy friends, and in fact, I recommend that everyone has at least one or two friends of the opposite gender, or mainly because they can give you a perspective that you can't quite get yourself. Obviously, I'm a dude, I'm a man, so of course I don't know what it's like to be a woman and everything. So getting kind of perspective on different things, whether it be something that I perceive one way and my female friends may perceive another way, or even when I have a significant other, when I had my girlfriend at the time, I would often ask my female friends about advice, like relationship advice and stuff like that, and they were pretty helpful in that regard. So being able to have that just platonic friendship without anything extra, I think one extra things come into the picture, that's when the waters get muddy. But just having that genuine friendship and that genuine bond is absolutely absolutely possible, and And I love discussing things. Obviously, I love discussing things with my guy friends, of course, but I also love discussing things with my female friends as well, to gain myself that perspective. If I may not have seen something a certain way until one of my female friends brings it up from their perspective. If I learn from them, they learn from me. So I would say, yeah, men and women absolutely can be friends, but that secret like romantic. That secret hit romantic feelings, I think, is what complicates things, and is one of the main arguments for it. For me, that's always been pointless, like being friends with someone specifically just to get with them. Like that to me has always been kind of pointless, because for starters, I feel like it is a bit dishonest and deceptive, but that also because you could be costing yourself a legitimate friend, and just because you want to get with them, you're friends with them just because as you want to get with them. Now, if you're friends and that blossoms into a relationship, different story. But getting with someone and in terms of friendship just to get with them, I feel like it's always kind of pointless. Because when they don't reciprocate, and I think that's another argument, is that when they don't reciprocate, the guy stereotypically gets all like upset and everything, but that's not what the woman was there for. If me and a female become friends, and she's under the guise of friendship. And theoretically, I would be as well. But if I was the type of guy who was dishonest and secretly wanted to be friends with them just to get with them, then and when that doesn't work out, now I'm all upset, like, oh, why don't you want to date me, stuff like that. Had the woman's like, whoa. Oh, I wasn't here for dating. I thought we were friends. I thought we were I thought we were like platonic friends. I thought there wasn't any romantic ties. So because the woman has no idea about the guy's ulterior motive. And sometimes the shoe is on the other foot, of course. But yes, that's often what happens. Is the guy is upset because his plans didn't work out, and kind of in the stereotypical way. Like I said, sometimes shoes on their other foot, but one party essentially, when they try to sneak in those romantic feelings, and that's the sole purpose they're there. Again, like if a relationship blossoms out of friendship, that's a different story. But if you're specifically there just to get with them, and then when that doesn't work out, it's not on them, it's on you, because you weren't there for actual friendship in the first place. Let me know if that makes any sense, if I explain that well. I feel like I kind of suck at explaining things sometimes, but let me know if that makes any sense. So yeah, bottom line, to end this off, I say, yeah, guys and girls absolutely can be friends. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as it drops. And let me know in the comments what your thoughts on anything I talked about in this episode of System Shock Radio. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.